This is the 2020 M1 powered MacBook Pro, and this is the 2021 M1 Pro MacBook Pro.
And today we're going to be comparing the two physically, so let's get into it.
Alright, so first things first, let's start off with the outside. And right off the bat, you can probably already tell that the Apple logo is actually significantly bigger on the 2021 MacBook Pro as opposed to the 2020 edition. And if you look a little bit closer, you can tell that there is a slight difference in size, as this is a 14-inch MacBook as opposed to the 13-inch. Alright, so flipping the MacBook around, I think the first thing that's quite evident is the MacBook Pro logo that has now been engraved on the bottom of the 2021 lineup. The actual legs of the 14-inch MacBook Pro are a lot more prominent than on the previous generation, and this is done to prop up the MacBook a little bit more than the previous generation, allowing the fans to do their job better and allowing for a more efficient release of hot air through these vents. Now, I know I've got a skin on my 2020 MacBook Pro, and it kind of makes it a little bit hard to see, but bear with me on this one. If you look really closely here, you can see that these legs are a lot more stubby and not as prominent as the 14-inch Mac. And this is probably just because Apple had one vent on the 2020 MacBook, which was just at the back. And I guess Apple didn't really feel like they had to prop this MacBook up as much as the 2021 model. And that's just it. You've got an extra set of vents on the 2021 MacBook Pro. You've got one slit here, which is down the back, as well as two smaller slits on the sides. All right, so let's open these MacBooks up. All right, so the first thing you might notice when opening up these MacBooks is the lack of a touch bar on the 2021 model. Looking back at the 2020 model, it had a touch bar which Apple kept for many years before scrapping it all together for the 2021 design. Now, many people may feel some type of way about this. Me, I was quite neutral on it. I felt that it never really added anything, but it also never really felt detrimental to my experience. I was fine with it. So with the 2021 lineup, you've got physical keys, which honestly is fine by me. Another thing you may notice is a bigger physical fingerprint scanner on the 2021 model as opposed to the 2020 model. Now, I personally like this. I feel that a bigger physical fingerprint scanner makes it easier to reach over and quickly unlock the device. All right, so the final difference you may notice on the bottom half of these laptops are the keyboard themselves. Now, with the 2020 MacBook Pro, you've got these keys which are black on gray, which honestly, I never really hated. I thought it was fine. But on the 2021 MacBook Pro, you've got black on black. You've got black keys on a black foundation. And I gotta say, I really do like this black on black look. I never really thought about it until Apple did it. And I can say right off the bat, it does look better. Now, the actual keys themselves feel much better on the 2021 model. There is a little bit more of key travel. One thing that I didn't really like about the 2020 MacBook was that the keys kind of felt a little bit mushy. I feel like Apple has definitely tried to improve this on the 2021 model, and we gotta give them props for it. All right, so one final difference when looking at the top half of the laptop is the screen itself. Now, Apple has improved the display of the 2021 MacBook Pro, and so it is superior than the 2020 version. However, I feel that the most discernible difference is the inclusion of the notch
In the 2021 model.
Now, some people may like this, some people may hate it, but for me personally, I can say that honestly, after using it for a week, the notch sort of just blends in with the back of the screen with whatever you're doing, so you don't really notice it as much. One thing that I do find a little bit strange is the fact that despite having this notch, you actually don't have Face ID on the 2021 lineup, which is kind of odd to me because if you're using that much space for this notch, what do you actually have back there? And why is there no Face ID? So for me, that's kind of odd. But yeah, it is what it is. It's Apple. We just got to deal with it. So yeah, Apple, if you're listening, I do find that kind of weird.
One thing I almost forgot to mention was the change in ports on the 2021 MacBook Pro over the previous generation. With the 2021 MacBook Pro, you get a MagSafe 3 charging port, 3 Thunderbolt 4 USB Type-C ports, a headphone jack, a HDMI port, and an SD card slot, which honestly is very useful in today's age.
So there you have it. This has been my physical comparison of the 2020 MacBook Pro with the 2021 14-inch MacBook Pro. Looks like we're out of time.
Like and subscribe, or not. It's up to you.
And yeah, I'll catch you in the next one. Till then, peace.